Facts. Nintendo 64, the console wars and beyond. The much-loved N64 was the console that spurred the legendary console wars between Nintendo, Sony, and Sega. While Nintendo eventually lost the battle, the N64 was a revolutionary console that pushed the boundaries of what was possible with home gaming consoles. Still revered today, its titles have become timeless classics, and many of its genre-defining titles continue to influence modern gaming to this day. Despite the eventual decline in its popularity as newer consoles released, the Nintendo 64 remains one of the most beloved consoles of all time. Mario 64 was the first time Mario was brought to a 3D platform, a revolutionary change that many saw as a risk for the iconic plumber. However, the gamble paid off, possibly because of its on-railed level design, which helped perfect the controls. Despite being released almost 3 decades ago, Mario 64 stands up well in terms of playability and graphics. Multiple camera angles, realistic physics, and well-crafted levels helped Mario climb to the top of the 3D platforming pinnacle. The Nintendo 64 version of Mario 64 was a technical accomplishment for its time. Using the N64's graphical power, it pushed the three-dimensional platformer genre to the next level, combining sharp textures and a cinematic camera with a vast and immersive game world. The game was so physically demanding, it is often thought to be the cause of the Nintendo Blistergate issue. The Nintendo 64 version of Mario 64 was one of Nintendo's most memorable title screens ever. It instantly drew you in with its bright colors, instantly identifiable music, and classic Mario characters. Even today, the Mario's interactive title screen is fondly remembered amongst fans. Mario 64 was not only a huge success for the Nintendo 64, but it also had a lasting impact on future Nintendo games. From the 3D level designs found in the Super Mario Galaxy games to the tight physics of the Mario Kart series, Mario 64 set the standard for the Mario universe and helped mold the way we play games to this day. In addition to its single-player mode, Mario 64 also featured a multiplayer mode. This allowed players to battle against each other in classic Mario games such as Super Mario Bros. Or Race Mode, where players compete to complete levels as quickly as possible. For the time, this feature was virtually unheard of, and it only reinforced Mario 64's place in the pantheon of games. One of the most impressive features of Mario 64 was its level design. Each level was designed to be both linear and open-ended, allowing a player to explore and find their own path to the goals. This gave each level a more organic feel and, combined with the classic Mario platforming and physics, created an incredibly engaging game. One of the most prominent titles released for N64 was the horror classic, Resident Evil 2. Released in 1999, Resident Evil 2 proved to be a genre-defining title that resonated with gamers worldwide. As the first 3D outing for the franchise, Resident Evil 2 set a new standard for the survival horror genre. Players were cast into an apocalyptic, zombie-filled Raccoon City as they navigated their way through treacherous puzzles and towers of enemies. N64 owners were treated to one of the finest ports of the game at the time. Though less popular than its predecessor, Turok 2: Seeds of Evil proved to be one of the N64's defining titles. Developed by Iguana Entertainment and published by Acclaim, Seeds of Evil served as a sequel to Turok: Dinosaur Hunter. In this installment, players once again assumed the role of Turok as they confronted the Primogen and his interdimensional minions. The N64 version of Turok 2 featured improved weapon set and a noticeably better draw distance and draw quality, allowing for larger foes and more immersive landscapes.